Hi everyone, my name is Durga. I would like to discuss today on biology chapter that is reproduction. So reproduction, so we'll just have a brief look about these concepts which are related in 10th Cbse, right? Reproduction is nothing but it is a process by which all the organisms, generally what do you mean by reproduce in normal in English meaning also is nothing but in which something is getting multiplied, you can say, by which all organisms multiply in number, so that is and increase their population. So that means where that is a process where the all organisms multiplication, you can say multiplication of organisms or multiply in number, all organisms multiply in number. So here you have again two types, that is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. So first we are going to just discuss a brief look, we'll have a brief look about this asexual reproduction. So when an organism multiplies itself, so there are two possibilities, like either two organisms can involve in the process of reproduction or only one organism can also multiply on its own. So this method of reproduction in which only one, it involves only one organism, involves only one organism. So that is what that is called as asexual reproduction. So that means a single organism reproduces two or more multiple organisms on its own. So this is seen in, you can have this type of reproduction in unicellular organisms, and you can also have in multicellular organisms, and also in few plants this type of reproduction is generally observed. Okay, now let us just look at what are the different methods of this asexual reproduction. Can be done in different ways, like some organisms follow one method, few organisms follow a different method. So we'll have a brief look of all the methods of asexual reproduction. So first method or first procedure, you can say, is fission. It is called as fission. Fission is nothing but it is mostly common in unicellular organisms. It's mostly common in unicellular. That means which has organism which has only one cell. So that means what happens during this process of fission means when an organism reproduces itself by fission, so that is it results in formation of two daughter cells are produced here. So two daughter cells are produced. So that is called as binary fission. When two daughter cells are produced, it is called as binary fission. Now, when many daughter cells are produced, for example, you can say like it results in the process of multiple fission. It results in the process of multiple fission. So binary fission, you can take the example of paramecium. Paramecium is a very good example of binary fission, and this is plasmodium. Example of multiple fission is plasmodium. So that means this fission is different for different organisms. So amoeba, so for example, if you take binary fission in amoeba, okay, binary fission when you are explaining in case of amoeba, so generally parent amoeba, what happens, so the nucleus is elongated. That so in this way, suppose let us just have a brief look at the picture. So this is parent amoeba, you can see in the first one, this is called parent amoeba. So this undergoes elongation of nucleus takes place here. That means this is the nucleus part. So nucleus is elongated. So that means it gets enlarged. So it becomes like this. Okay. So after elongation, it becomes like this. So the second step in this binary fission is elongation of nucleus. Elongation of nucleus. Okay. Now, after that, the nucleus is divided. So it is getting divided, division of nucleus and cytoplasm. So that will be like this. It is getting divided here. So here it will be totally divided here. So this is division of nucleus, you can say. So division of nucleus and cytoplasm. And finally, division of nucleus and cytoplasm. Okay, and the last one is what, that is two daughter cells are obtained finally. Two daughter cells with individual nucleus are obtained finally. This is two daughter cells. So this is binary fission. You can explain briefly about the binary fission in this way. Okay, so now the next one in this asexual reproduction, the second type is by which the organisms multiply or reproduce is in which there is only one organism involved. The second type is budding. So budding is also an asexual reproduction where one small, it is called as a cyst-like structure. Cyst-like structure is formed on the parent's body. So you can say cyst-like structure is formed on parent's body. Okay, parent's body. So this is called as which gives this cyst like structure. What happens is it gives rise to a new individual. Okay, this is how the reproduction takes place. Okay, so that means whatever the bud which is formed, no, that will be remain attached to the parent itself, or it can separate from the individual. So both can happen. So very good example, important example under this is hydra. So hydra, so a cyst like structure. So for example, you can have a parent hydra initially, then a bud will develop on the organism. So after that, that bud gets separated and new hydra will be formed. So this process is budding. The next one is regeneration and fragmentation. This is the third method of asexual reproduction. This is regeneration and fragmentation. So regeneration is not fragmentation. It is nothing but the process of growing back the lost organ, or suppose if any body part is lost, so by which the organism regenerates from the lost body part. So that is called as regeneration. Fragmentation is nothing but from the word itself you can say, so the organism gets itself splitted into small fragments. So the best examples under this is again hydra undergoes this type of reproduction, and another one is planaria. So planaria is also this very good example. So that is regeneration means if any organism has lost its part, so from the lost body part the organism can reproduce itself. Okay, like best example you can say it is lizard. Fragment means what? A small part breaking up into small parts. So when any particular organism gets splitted or broken into small pieces, then each piece will grow into a new organism. So that is nothing but fragmentation. Now the fourth method under this asexual reproduction is the spore formation. Spore formation means what? Spore is nothing but they grow on an individual, so and finally result into a new individual. Small spores will be formed. For example, organisms like fungi, they undergo this type of asexual reproduction. They grow into completely new individuals. So when they are completely separated from the parental body, so that is nothing but spore formation. The next one is the vegetative propagation. So vegetative propagation, this is a type of asexual reproduction which is seen in plants mainly. So generally you observe here like in different parts of the plant like leaves, stem, okay, roots, all these, so they can give rise to a new plant. Now this vegetative propagation can be artificial propagation or natural propagation also. So you can have both categories, artificial and natural methods. So natural methods like turmeric, ginger, so all these follow this natural vegetative propagation. Artificial methods means there are different methods that are followed like cutting, grafting, layering and tissue culture. So these are nothing but the artificial propagation: cutting, layering, tissue culture. So this is a brief review about the asexual reproduction. So with this asexual reproduction, these are the 5 different types which are followed by different organisms, in which only one type of organism is involved in the reproduction. So this is a very important and interesting concept of biology. So you can go through the textbook and refer back the pictures also. Okay, thank you very much.